What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Joystick Ayrton. Today we're talking about the Lenovo Legion Go, the Lenovo Legion Go S, the Lenovo Go Steam OS, the Lenovo Legion Go 2. We got a lot to talk about, so let's get started. All right. So in our last video, we had a couple hot takes on our coverage of CES 2025, really just regarding to Lenovo. So I wanted to kind of refine that just a little bit and dive in a little bit deeper, to be completely honest with you, because I feel like in that entire video, a lot was lost in the sauce, so to speak. So with that being said, I want to dive into the Lenovo Legion Go S, the Steam OS model, the Windows model, and the prototype Legion Go 2. So with that being said, let's dive on in. So like I was saying in the previous video, I went in pretty hard on Lenovo for what I thought was somewhat of a lackluster reveal. So not only did they reveal one, but two, kind of three, and a fourth handheld. So I want to kind of dive into my disappointments, what I'm expecting, the positives of everything, and what I think got lost in the entire video. And the point that really still matters the most is that the Lenovo Legion Go 2 is going to be far superior than the Lenovo Legion Go. It's going to have a freaking OLED screen. That's the only reason I have a Steam Deck OLED, is that thing is so fundamentally beautiful. It's going to be the first VRR landscape. I think it's 144 hertz OLED screen on a handheld anywhere. And this thing is going to be massive, 8.8 inches. It's just absurd. It's going to be a fundamentally amazing device. It's going to end up having 32 gigs of RAM, a Z2 Extreme. It's going to be an upgrade. I just feel like that device, at least in what the prototype said it was, could be better. So let me explain that to you, because I think it's the most important on everybody's mind. The Lenovo Legion Go 2 was only set out as a prototype. We're not really quite sure what we're going to get, when we're going to get it, and what that price is going to be. So for the most part, this is all speculation. I took parts and pieces of what they said, things that were on the prototype sheet, and then just kind of drawed some conclusions like many of you. Some people agreed with me, some people didn't. But there's a couple of things that I think fundamentally are important here. When it comes to the GPU drivers or the GPU on board here, I want to see the 890M. This is the latest set of GPU architecture from AMD. The previous one on the original Legion Go and on like this GPT Win Mini or Win Max is the 780M, which is what was on the prototype. So that concerns me. If I'm paying what I'm going to expect to be $1,000, I need everything. That leads me to my second concern, which is the drop in resolution. Now, normally, that drop in resolution would mean almost nothing, because realistically, what games are you playing at 1600p? Well, maybe Dead Cells, maybe an indie game, maybe Balatro. Maybe you're just using it for streaming. I watch a lot of college football on YouTube TV, sometimes on the handheld, sometimes on the Win Mini. It just depends on what I'm doing, but that's the real only place you lose it. Realistically, that's not a terrible thing. It's kind of at the bottom of all of my issues, because battery performance is going to be better. If that can reduce the cost a little bit, that's a plus. Integer scaling will be a little different depending on how that all works, so that'll be interesting to test, but that'll be different from the 1600p screen of the original. But you can't go wrong with VRR, landscape, 144 hertz, and OLED. Humanly impossible. So there's nothing to really complain about that at the end of the day. So concern about the GPU that is in the device. Now, the Z2 Extreme is not going to be fundamentally, drastically, in any way a superior over the Z1 Extreme. Now, what it is going to be, which is a big part of it, is more efficient. Up to 20%. That's huge. That could mean a drastic improvement in battery life. And we're going from about a 57 to 55 watt battery up to a 74 watt hour battery. This is a disappointment part. And what I mean by that is Asus found a way to shove an 80 watt hour battery into a device that actually reduced the weight of the device. I believe it's like 680 grams. That's insane. We're looking at a device that has 2 inches more of screen space, yet it has a smaller battery. Now, with the Z2 Extreme, it should be more efficient, which should outperform that 80 watt hour battery of the ROG Ally. But I was hoping for not only a bigger battery than the Ally, I was hoping to upwards of 100 watts because that's what they will let you on a plane with. But I was also hoping for a reduction in weight of the thing. But it looks like we're going to gain 100 grams here, going from around the 800s to up to the 900 grams on the weight of the device. So that's a little bit of a disappointment as well. With all of that being said, I don't think this is going to be in any way a bad device. I think it's going to be fantastic. The controllers, not only are they backwards compatible, they look freaking awesome. One concern that Russ brought up in a bunch of his videos was the trackpad, just kind of the way everything is curved, being able to hit that, but it looks like there will be a toggle to turn that off when you're in game, so you're not causing yourself issues. But I feel like Lenovo could have absolutely hit it out of the ballpark. They could have had that home run, that last second Hail Mary with this device. Now, it is humanly possible things change in the prototype because it is a prototype. So we're waiting still. It looks like Q2 of 2025. So I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. In the past video, it sounded like I was a real bummer, which I was bummed because I think they could have done better. But I still think this is going to be a massive upgrade over the Legion Go 2. But the caveat to all of this is, what is that price point? If this is a $1,000 device, at that point, you're just kind of thinking, yeah, is that OLED worth $100? I would tell you it is worth $100. When you're looking at the MSI Claw or the RAG Ally X, brand new, OLED is nice. So with that being said, I think it got lost in the sauce that I'm disappointed in what the prototype was, even though it's still a massive upgrade and going to be drastically better. And if the price is right, all of this is null and void. So let's move on from the Legion Go 2 and talk about the S. Okay, so I have some drastic concerns about the Legion Go S Windows model, not the Steam model in any way, shape, or form. But the Legion Go S, Windows, and Steam seem to be like they're going to be fairly similar to each other. There's going to be a $500 model coming out in May that has Steam OS on it. Sounds like, and I can't find a whole bunch of information online about this one, but a $600 Windows model for the Legion S coming around the same time. And then in February here, we have the $730 model coming here pretty darn soon. Those are drastically different, but a lot of the same problem that I have with all of them. So the Z2 Go chip is really, it's a Z1 Extreme with the graphics cores, but half of the CPU cores. So it's going to perform pretty close to a 6800U. We've had a lot of people talking about this. We'll benchmark it when we get our hands on one. That's concerning at $729 for a Windows-based model. Now, you do get 32 gigs of RAM. You do get a 1 terabyte SSD. I don't see that being $200 over what you're going to get with the Steam OS model. I can't see that in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not sure where a $600 model slots in at all. What is it? Are you paying an extra $100 for Windows between the Steam version and the version that I would assume is cut down, 16 gigs of RAM and a 512 compared to this model coming up? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, considering that we're going to be able to put SteamOS on pretty much anything here soon. And yes, shipping a $500 SteamOS device is going to be incredible. That's great for everyone. It's great for Valve. It's great for us. It's great for Windows because the competition is there. It's going to bring us to an age where Windows has to start doing something. That's awesome. I'm just concerned about the price for $730 when you can get a Steam Deck pretty darn close to $550 and get OLED. You can get a Legion Go right now, brand new, on sale from Best Buy for way cheaper than that. An ROG Ally X, you can get one maybe open box for $600. It looks like an extremely high price. Now you get a couple things with that. You get fully adjustable triggers for racing games or shooting games. It looks like it's going to be an awesome device. Unfortunately, it seems pretty heavy with only a 55 watt hour battery. It looks like 730 grams. So I'm somewhat bipolar about this. I think the SteamOS model is going to make complete sense at that $500 price point, even at $600, but especially at $730. I don't think the Windows model makes a lot of sense at all. But we're going to get one and test it out here on the channel for you, a lot of benchmarks and things of that nature. So stick tuned for that. I want to talk a little bit more about the SteamOS model because I have some conspiracy theories. I don't think the Z2 Go exists without the Steam Deck. You have RDNA 2 basically inside of that. You are looking at a slightly more performant version of the Steam Deck without OLED. So there's a couple trade-offs that you have to decide on what you want. depending on what it is. So maybe you want the 8-inch screen. The OLED Steam Deck is 7.4, so you're only gaining 0.6 of an inch. It's a heavier device. It has about the same battery capacity, 50 to 55. So what's that performance going to be there? You're losing your trackpads, but you're gaining those adjustable triggers. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with the trackpad there, just on the Legion Go S SteamOS model for 500 bucks. You're saving 50 bucks compared to the Steam Deck OLED, but you would assume they might put that on sale. So it's a really compelling argument between those two models at that price point. I've heard Russ talk a whole lot about wanting to put SteamOS on the white model for an extra 250 bucks. I think your average consumer isn't going to do that. Russ or somebody who has that extra cash might, because they prefer the white, but that doesn't really make sense. But I have a conspiracy theory that the reason this is actually working out this way is because there are those trade-offs. Valve's not going to let you put a Z1 Extreme into a SteamOS shipped model that is drastically better performance-wise or in other categories than the Steam Deck is. They're okay with some sales going to Lenovo instead of the Steam Deck because they're getting you into that ecosystem, or they're hoping they get you into that ecosystem and you don't just go throw Windows on the thing. With that being said, they also still want to sell Steam Decks. So I think there's some kind of arrangement there for sure that's saying, well, you know, we'll ship a device with SteamOS for you. We'll do this and we'll do that, but you can't put a Z1 Extreme in it. It's got to be something a little bit closer to what's currently in the Steam Deck. So that's just my conspiracy theory, but I think the SteamOS model is going to be awesome. I think the Windows models, I really don't even honestly think they should exist, but I do think they're nice for people who don't like, maybe they want something a couple 100 grams lighter, maybe they want the adjustable triggers, maybe they don't want the detachable controllers. I can understand all of that, but I still think an 8-inch screen, that device is going to be big. It's 730 grams. I think they could have done something a little unique, like maybe a 6-inch screen, but a lot of people, little screens don't make a big jar, so I can see that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Okay, so we covered a lot of different things in this video. Talked about our previous video, talked about the future of the Legion Go 2, what I'm hoping, what I think about the Legion Go S. There's just a lot coming out this year. There's going to be stuff from Asus. There's going to be stuff from Valve. There's going to be stuff from Windows. There's a lot going on. It is a super exciting year. There's going to be a drastic uptick in handheld stuff this year. I'm curious where the cliff is. That's what I'm concerned about. You have all kinds of stuff coming from Acer, Valve, just any company you can think of is trying to hop in on this market while they can. I'm concerned where that cliff might be, but it's always good for competition, which is what brings me to the MSI Claw, which is what brings me to Intel, which is a great thing for competition with what we're seeing out of the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus. With that being said, I'm recording this video on the day it was supposed to launch in the US, where you can't buy it on Newegg, you can't buy it on Best Buy, and it doesn't look like, who knows when we might get one. So our content for that will be delayed till, I have no idea. But I'd like to get one and do all of my testing before getting a Legion Go S. So we'll see what happens with that. With all that being said, obviously we have a new microphone. Hopefully that was a little bit better. Hopefully I cleared up some confusion with the past video and really dogging on Lenovo to an extent where I was just overly disappointed. But I still think there's drastic improvements coming. So with that being said, I'm hoping the next video we put out is the MSI Claw review, but honestly, who knows? With that being said, let me know what you think about the new audio, the content, the channel, and everything else in the comment section down below, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.